to start on the crostini. We're going to use crostini with the tomato topping and then also with a salmon and soft herb cheese. I'm going to put the tomato topping aside to marinate, and I'm going to go over and get the gluten-free bread for the crostini. And I'm going to grab the salmon and the herb cheese. Okay, we're using 6 pieces of gluten-free bread. We chose a denser bread because we're going to be toasting it. See, there's a good reason for that dense bread. Right. Now you'll probably have shopped around and figured out the differences in gluten-free bread. These dense ones work really well for a base for the salmon and herb cheese and the tomato topping, instead of the lighter brands that you would probably like to use with sandwiches or toast. Okay, we're just going to lightly brush the toast with olive oil and then stick them in the oven to toast for about 10 minutes. You want to keep an eye on them just in case. You don't want them to burn. If you have a toaster oven, that would also be great. We set our oven to 200 degrees. Now while I'm doing this, do you want to salt and pepper these? Sure. We're salt and peppering them for seasoning, just lightly, since we'll have the toppings on top. You always just want to season every layer of the food. And I'll get the pepper. Thank you. Okay. All right. That looks good. And again, we have our oven set at 200 degrees and we're just going to toast it for about 5 to 10 minutes. And while that's toasting, for the second crostini, we're using a smoked salmon and a soft herb cheese. Now you can get this smoked salmon at any grocery store, just make sure that it's thinly sliced. And I'm going to get the roasted balsamic tomatoes. We actually made them a day ahead of time because we like them cold. And it actually makes it easier for preparation for a party. And while you get that, I'm going to start slicing the parmesan for the tomatoes. Okay. Here are our balsamic roasted tomatoes. They're cold. And I think our toast is about done now. Let's check everything. Now it's time for the fun part, assembling the crostini. Now we're going to cut our bread into fourths and put the salmon and herb cheese on half of the toast and the tomatoes and parmesan on the other half. I can help you out with this. Thank you. And these are just tasty, wonderful little snacks, and they're perfect for parties, and nobody's going to know that they're gluten-free. Now we're going to take this piece and we're going to spread the herb cheese on the toast. You want to make sure that you take your cheese out at least 15 to 20 minutes before it to make sure that it's soft. So put some cheese on, and then all you do is you take a slice of salmon and put it on top. Let's get that on top. And there you go. There's your smoked salmon and soft herb crostini. This one's easy. We're taking our roasted balsamic tomatoes and placing it on the crostini and taking a couple shavings of the parmesan and placing it on top. And there you go. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get our serving platter for the crostini. And then of course you could just assemble them any way you want. I like to split the plate in half. The crostinis are all set. We pre-baked the polenta squares ahead of time, so all we need to do is plate them and put the bruschetta topping on. You'll make some room for me? Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Okay. So, here are what the polenta squares look like after they're baked. They have a little bit of crispiness on top, but they're still smooth in the middle. Okay. So it's easy to hold them at a party. Now we're going to take our tomato topping that's been marinating for about an hour. And again, you can do it up to 2 hours. And we're just going to do a little scoop and place it on top of the polenta. And here's our gluten-free twist on bruschetta. Okay, now let's taste these before the party. Okay. I'm going to grab the salmon. I'll have the roasted tomato. How's that? It's so good with the smoky salmon and the creamy cheese, and you can't even tell that the bread is gluten-free. Why don't you try that bruschetta? I know, it looks so good. I'll try the tomato. It's so flavorful. Gluten-free for you and me.